body. What we do in this situation, we try to find out exactly what the person is feeling, what the symptom is. Then we ask them to do something to intensify it. For example, if it's a pain in the shoulder, to contract the shoulder and make the pain stronger. There's too much energy in the hand. We ask them to tense up the hand and hold the energy and then wait what happens. And then we go from the outside and we do something to intensify it even further. So again, the idea is that the symptom is something that's halfway out. So you want to basically intensify the symptom to bring the gestalt to completion. So as we hold the energy in the place where there is a symptom, then we ask the person to let the rest of the body do whatever it wants to do spontaneously, without judging it, without censoring it, without asking the question whether it makes sense, whether it's too uncivilized, whether their mother would agree or not, and just sort of letting it all hang out, sort of allowing that to happen. And we see in this situation suddenly people start talking in tongues or in a foreign language, or baby talk comes, or animal sounds, or a shamanic chant of some kind, or just gibberish. And we see a lot of response of the body sort of shaking, moving back and forth, coughing, gagging, and so on. And we just continue doing it until the energy is cleared and the symptom disappears, and we reach an agreement that that's the closure of the session. And then when the person is finished, it's time to go and draw the mandala. They got a piece of paper with a circle on it, and there's some pastels, some crayons, and they would spend some time with it and then draw somehow whatever is their impression from the session, which could be just colors, it could be a geometrical mandala, it could be some kind of figurative image. Sometimes people draw a vision that they had in the session. Sometimes they have a whole sort of a sequence of scenes that were the different sequences experienced in the breathwork. Sometimes it's just automatic drawing. They draw and they don't know what it is. And in many instances, the next session will bring the explanation of what it was. We see frequently that the psyche is taking us somewhere. So sometimes the mandala can be ahead of the session rather than documenting what already happened. It's suggesting where the process is going. So just a few words now what a typical session looks like. We work with pairs, with dyads, so that people choose a partner in the group. They also decide who goes first. In the first session, half of the group would be breathers and the other half would be sitters or assistants. And then in the next session, they would switch roles. People are on the mattresses in a reclining, comfortable position with the eyes closed or with eye shades. And then we take them through a kind of a relaxation where we go through the different parts of the body, ask them to relax it, to bring themselves into the present moment, in touch with the body, and then particularly let go of any programs, any plans they might have for the session. So they allow this sort of deeper inner healing intelligence to manifest. They don't bring any preconceived ideas or plans into the session. And then after this relaxation, we ask them to start sort of breathing a little faster, a little deeper than usual, tying the exhalation and the inhalation into kind of a circle of breath and surrendering to the music. And then whatever is happening, they just continue to breathe, whether they go into a state of relaxation and seeing light and connecting with others, or whether they go into a situation where some tensions come in the body, or some pains or some emotions come up, or some memories, some visions, and so on. Just simply breathe and pay attention to it, experience things, and then let them go. Be always prepared for the next experience. The sitters provide protection so that when somebody starts moving into somebody else's place, there's somebody there to contain them, somebody to bring a blanket, to hand a Kleenex, for example. We also use quite a bit of physical contact. Besides the body work, we use a lot of supportive physical contact. When people regress into a kind of a childlike situation, into a situation where there was abandonment, where there was deprivation, or they just have been through birth and they sort of look like little children and kind of lost then there's a possibility of seeking contact, giving them a hand or touching their forehead. And then if that feels comfortable, if the person responds to it, sometimes people use full body contact and just hold the person for quite a while. It's a very effective way of clearing some of the traumas that have to do with abandonment, that have to do with deprivation. We basically believe that there are two types of traumas. One category are traumas by commission, where something happened to us that wasn't supposed to happen. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, ridicule, humiliation, frightening situations, and so on. And this is something that we can bring into consciousness and we can kind of expel. We can get rid of that. It's like a foreign body in the psyche. But then there's a whole other category of experiences which are traumas by omission, which is we had some legitimate need as children. We wanted to be held. We needed skin contact with the mother. We needed to be comforted. We needed to be played with, be center of attention, and so on. And there was rejection or abandonment. This kind of experience leaves a vacuum. There's something that we didn't get. It's not an excess of something. And when the process takes us there, we can feel angry and frustrated because we didn't get what we were supposed to get, but that's not going to fill the vacuum. We need some corrective experience. So as we are regressed and we feel like infants again, we then sort of grab the body, forget who it is, where we are, and just experience that primitive comfort that comes from being kind of helpless but feeling safe and comfortable, which is a very powerful healing experience on a very, very deep level. So this in a nutshell is what a session looks like. Individually, we ask people when they're finished not to get involved in ordinary talking, so that whatever sounds are happening in the room are just related to the necessary process. When they just want to talk, they take it out to another place. And they go and they draw the mandala, and then later we have a sharing group where people actually talk about their experiences and they use the mandalas as a kind of a right-brain picture of what happened to them. One important thing besides these technical aspects that I have been discussing is that people come into this with a certain attitude, with a certain philosophy. So for example, it's essential to have a large cartography, not to have the narrow idea as to what is normal in human experience that we have in our culture, where many people get hospitalized because they had death rebirth experiences, or because they had kundalini experiences, or because they had past